Today I have here a 2020 Jaguar XE P250 all-wheel drive S. Yes, that is a mouthful. The Jaguar brand is known for some amazing vehicles over their history. The Mark 1 and 2, the E-Type, the D-Type, the XK120, the XJS, and who could forget about the legendary story behind the XJ220. All these cars can be considered their flagship top-of-the-line models. The car I'm reviewing today isn't their flagship model, but an entry-level sedan. Jaguar isn't known for their compact executive cars, with their first attempt being the X-Type. They started production in 2001, and the end of production year varies per market, but it sparked a new era for the British car marque. At the time, Jaguar was under ownership of Ford, and the X-Type was based off the Ford Mondeo. Many felt that this wasn't a proper Jag because of this, or that the brand has been diluted by offering a mass-produced, entry-level Jag. Others felt that the Mondeo underpinnings made it an excellent car. Everyone can agree that the styling was becoming old and tired by 2008 and 2009 standards when other luxury car manufacturers offered more modern styling. After the X-Type's production ended, it came a long hiatus from their compact executive car segment. In 2017, the XE began production in North America, filling the gap that the X-Type left behind. So what can we expect from the X-Type successor? Well, it's quite good considering it as Jaguar's second attempt. The pre-facelift XE was a good step up. The up-to-date styling, tech features, and great driving experience made for a great car. I drove this white 35T model with the supercharged V6 and it was enjoyable. The power delivery was excellent and the handling was quick and responsive to the driver inputs. My only gripe is that the supercharger whine is muted a bit too much, albeit nothing a few mods couldn't fix. Now, the 2020 revision is a different story. The range of engines has been slimmed. 2 inline 4-cylinder turbo options are available for North America, while the diesel variant is only for other markets. No more supercharged high displacement options. Quite sad but utterly inevitable. Let's move on to the interior and look at both pre-facelift and revised models side by side. The pre-facelift interior was nice, but it had some, problems. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. The 35T that I drove had about 15,000 miles on the clock and it did rattle and squeak a bit on rougher roads. Cars in this segment don't exactly have the best interior quality, as I'm sure you've all seen that Mercedes C-Class build quality video that went viral. If not, I can link it down below. This generation of Jags from the XE, XF, and F-Pace SUV have had this issue as they had the same dash layout and same materials used. The interior was my biggest concern, and I'm glad to say that it isn't as bad as before. Of course, some trim pieces are subject to a bit of creaking when pressing down on them, but this is a competitive class, and to make a luxury sports sedan at this price point, there are going to have to be some cutbacks. While driving on rougher roads, I didn't hear any creaks or rattles, and I think that's good enough. The average buyer in this class won't be pressing on their dashboard to see if the interior squeaks. Overall, design-wise, the interior revision is great, and it has a premium feel. The front seats are comfortable and supportive, albeit a bit hard. Rear seats are cramped for taller individuals, as is to be expected in this segment, but it gains some points back for practicality, as it does have the ISOFIX system to secure a child seat. The dash layout is where things really change. It's a bit of a Jaguar Land Rover Partsman special, and that's not a bad thing. The steering wheel is borrowed from the I-Pace, and the multimedia system climate control unit is lifted from other Range Rover models. The higher-end trim models come with what Jaguar Land Rover calls the In Control Touch Pro Duo, that is basically a second screen that controls the climate. Although I haven't tried the one in the XE, I've tried out the Land Rover iteration found on the Range Rover Velar and Range Rover Sport. Once you take a few minutes to figure out how it works, it's quite intuitive and it doesn't distract you too much while driving. Reliability can be a concern where there are cases of malfunction and the temperature being stuck on full blast without a way to control it. The upper portion is a 10-inch touchscreen that controls the media and navigation. It's quite snappy and responsive, like a cell phone. But start up on cold days, it can be quite a bit laggy. The gear selector is the coolest and best change in my opinion. It's been changed from that odd rotary dial selector thingy to a pistol grip shifter that's found in the Jaguar F-Type and Range Rover Sport. The rotary dial was an absolute mess, as there have been many cases of the dial not popping up on startup across the Jaguar Land Rover lineup. Plus, in the winter, it can take a few seconds after startup before it feels like presenting itself. Moving on to the exterior, there isn't all that much to say. When the XE came out, it was quite a handsome car. The revision brings a more aggressive front fascia with bigger lower intakes on the bumper and sharper, squintier headlights. Same treatment was brought to the rear of the XE with sharper taillights and a reshaped rear bumper. The revisions gave the XE a slight amount of Botox to tighten its features. Both fit the idea of what a sports sedan should look like without it being overly flashy or polarizing, like some cars. All things considered, it's a solid car. Unfortunately, people are not looking for a small luxury sedan, or any sedan for that matter. Jaguar has killed off the XE at the end of 2020 for North America. The flagship XJ sedan was killed off entirely at the end of 2019, with rumors of an electric XJ put to rest in the beginning of 2021. SUVs and crossovers are all the rage right now. Sedans don't really have a place in the market like they once did. SUVs now offer everything that luxury sports sedans did, with the added benefit of a higher driving position and more space for people and cargo. I totally get it. I think that the XE is a bargain once the depreciation starts to take its toll. The pre-facelift 2017 models are going for around $18,000 at their lowest, depending on the engine and trim level. This base model that I tested has less tech that can go wrong, especially later down the line after the warranty expires. This car would be perfect if you want to get into luxury sports sedans at a lower price point and have something different other than a BMW or an Audi.